What I always tell people is you can feel sadness and gratitude. You can experience them both about something.
They felt that I was a voice for them and they viewed me as a mentor and a role model.
We get to learn more about each other. We get to see each other's humanity. We get to connect as people when we can find those common bonds in everybody's story.
Welcome to The Art of Speaking Up, a podcast that helps professional women access the limitless potential that lies within them. I'm your host, Jessica Guzik, and my mission is to help you find that spark inside you that has the power to transform your career in ways you may not have thought possible. I'm so excited that you're here. And now, on to the show. Welcome to the show. Happy Thanksgiving! If you are listening to this episode the week it comes out, it is Thanksgiving. This makes me go back to memories of being little, and we sang this song in grade school, and it went, Happy Thanksgiving! Hooray, hooray, hooray! Aren't you glad you're not a turkey on this Thanksgiving day? Apologies if you don't find my voice pleasurable. But it's Thanksgiving, and the reason I'm getting pumped about that is because this is a special Thanksgiving episode that I have had in the works and I have been planning for a while. As you know, I've done a lot of interviews over season 4. I've talked to a lot of incredible, insightful women who have shared so many interesting nuggets of insight with me and with all of you. And throughout the course of those interviews, I also asked these women to share with me one thing that they were grateful for in their careers. And I wanted to put this episode out the week of Thanksgiving so that you could bask in feelings of gratitude and so that you could hopefully reflect on what you are grateful for in your career. Because positive psychology tells us that when we feel good, we perform much, much better. Which obviously begs the question, how do I feel good? One of the ways that you feel good is through gratitude. Now, let me tell you something about myself. I am one of those people that when I hear gratitude, my inner critic goes, oh, bullshit. No gratitude. This is BS. And while that inner critic has certainly voiced that a lot and sometimes even influences my own approach towards gratitude, the science shows that when you feel the gratitude, it improves your state and it really does help you perform better. So as per usual, my very snarky, pessimistic inner critic is totally wrong about gratitude. And if you have a similar inner critic, your inner critic is also wrong. So as you listen to this episode, I invite you to reflect on what you are grateful for in your job and really feel those feelings and let them sink in. And in fact, one of the guests who you're going to hear from, Erin Foley, she shares a little bit about how to actually feel gratitude in an effective way, in the right way. So that'll help you with that a little bit too. And at the end, I will share my gratitudes. You are going to hear from a lot of different women. So in the show notes, I'm going to list their names and their episode numbers in chronological order in case you want to go back and listen to their full interview, which I recommend you do. They're all incredible, and I feel very lucky to have had these conversations. And if you want more of the art of speaking up, if you want more of me, there is more of me available. So how do you get more? Well, you can get more by checking out the free resources in the show notes. I especially recommend downloading my ebook, The Smart Ambitious Woman's Guide to Assertiveness in the Workplace, because this is an ebook not just with writing in it, as a book would have, but with exercises that you can do so that you can go from passively listening to a podcast or to content to actually doing the work to really grow and really develop yourself as a confident and powerful leader. So definitely check out the ebook. And if that's not enough of me, and if you want more of me, this feels weird to say, strange phrasing that I've chosen. But anyway, if you want deeper support and deeper guidance for your professional life, I'm also offering career coaching to help support you one-on-one in finding confidence and finding your voice at work. One of the most important things for progression in a professional environment is your reputation and how people think about you and their perception of your ability to lead. And so many of you who listen to this show, you are very high performers who do very good work, but many of you struggle with bringing your voice out, and you struggle to show that high level of thinking and that high level of capability when you're in a meeting or in conversation. You're much better at doing it when you're working solo. But in order to develop that reputation and to become known as someone who is capable of leading, you have to bring that same level of excellence that you bring to your work. You have to also bring it to meetings and to the way that you are able to lead when you're in conversation with other people. This is not to make you worry or panic if you struggle with this, but it is just to let you know that this is definitely something that is worth working on, because not only is it going to make you feel good, and not only does it help you feel confident when you can show up in these meetings and these situations at work and speak up and share your perspective with strength and confidence, but it is also very important for your progression professionally. And if you want help working on that, you can reach out to me or check out the podcast website to learn more. It's theartofspeakingup.com/coaching, and I'm going to link it below. And now it is time to get into the gratitude spirit. I am very excited for you to hear these, so let's dive in.
Yeah, so, and I kind of mentioned this earlier. I mean, I'm really so grateful for the opportunity to be a voice for women. And as I said, when I began this part of my journey, I was overwhelmed by the gratitude that I received from women for whom I guess they felt that I was a voice for them, and they viewed me as a mentor and a role model. And that gratitude inspired me more than anything could have. It wasn't about money. It wasn't about recognition. You know, when I received emails from women who said that I changed the way they look at their future, or they felt that because of something that I had said or taken an interest in them, that they now had more confidence in their abilities and their skills and their own careers, that to me is worth much more than any amount of money ever could be.
Yeah, gratitude has been a big part of my path, and what I'm grateful for from my 9 to 5. I mean, there's so much. You know, I don't look at that and go, "Oh, thank God I'm out of there." Not by any stretch. You know, there was so much that I learned. There was so much that I received in terms of just how I learned to interact in the world came as a result of what I did in the workplace for 24 years. And so, all of that was a tremendous gift to me and the people that I worked with, so I worked with some amazing, amazing people and had some, just great working relationships that I very much enjoyed. And, some of the things that I regret and I miss about being in the corporate environment are, some of those people that I really just loved being around, and I'm still in touch with them. But I do miss that day-to-day interaction of just, kind of being in that place of giving and receiving with other people in the workplace. So I am grateful for that experience and for those people.
Yes. So here's the thing with gratitude that I want to say. Gratitude is great, and I'm a big fan. But the key is to not use gratitude as a way to bypass feelings or as a way to repress. So what I always tell people is you can feel sadness and gratitude. You can experience them both about something. You can be frustrated and find gratitude. So I always say to people, don't just sort of leap to the gratitude quickly as a way to positive think yourself out of something before you've gotten curious about what's going on with you and before you've processed what you might be feeling. So a good example is let's say you got fired from a job and people will feel really sad. They got let go. Maybe they loved the job. Maybe they loved the people. Maybe it was super fulfilling for them. And I'll have clients that come to me and they're like, I am so sad, but I know it's a good thing. And I know I have the future. And they're grasping at gratitude and grasping at gratitude. And I'm like, it's not a replacement for grief. You're allowed to be sad that job is gone. And it's fine to process that. Let yourself feel it. Let yourself feel sad about the things that you need to feel sad about. You loved your job. You love those people. So that grief is totally normal. And you can then gently start looking for where the gratitude is in that. And you can experience them both. So you don't have to use it to bypass things all the time or to try to like cover up the feelings of frustration or if your workplace, like, because a lot of times that will keep you from being curious about what's really going on with you and what you're feeling and when you need to process an emotion and feel the thing that you're actually experiencing and then moving to the gratitude. The other thing I want to say about gratitude is it only works when you slow yourself down and you move into the feeling state of gratitude. So if I just make a list of a bunch of stuff that I'm grateful for because I'm trying not to feel so crappy about this job that I hate, it's not going to do anything. I have to slow myself down enough to just like focus on one thing that I really, truly feel grateful with and sit with it long enough to feel the emotional feeling of gratitude. And when you feel it, now you get to have the benefits of it. But if you bypass the feeling, it just becomes an empty list.
Yeah, so I'll go back to that first job after school. That job was challenging in so many ways, but I am so grateful for the people that I made friends with along the way. When I doubted myself or got tired, they were there to cheerlead. Their support really helped me build confidence and move forward in my career. And I still keep in touch with these folks. Yesterday, we were on Zoom having music video viewing hours throughout quarantine. This is a thing that we've decided that's going to be our escape. And it's been nice to see them grow out of those roles and change as well.
I am really grateful for the fact that I get to share other people's stories and that they entrust me with their stories. A lot about marketing, and in particular, in my last role, I was focusing on a lot of employer branding. One of the things I was doing was finding unique employee stories and really elevating them, creating a video or doing articles. And I think that there's no bigger trust that you can do than somebody actually being vulnerable, sharing their personal life with you to you put it on a broader stage. But it is so fun for me. And I think we get to learn more about each other. We get to see each other's humanity. We get to connect as people when we can find those common bonds in everybody's story. So I'm super grateful to have a job where I do that.
There's quite a lot I could probably expand on here, but I'll try to hone it down to the main staple. I mean, honestly, I'm so grateful for the friendships that I've made. The Coast Guard to me was like a family. You see these people more than your blood family because you're usually living in a different state than where you grew up and all that. So I would say I'm extremely grateful for my Coast Guard friendships that I've made. I'm also very, very grateful for the lives that were saved due to the missions that I was a part of. And hopefully the positive impact of my service will ripple through eternity. And so I'm definitely so grateful to have had a chance to serve. I miss it a lot, but I'm on another path now.
Especially right now, as we are confined to our homes, I have realized how grateful I am to have had the opportunity to have gotten paid to see so many different parts of the world in our country and go places and travel places and bring this craft places. I have seen places I never would have seen, Mumbai, India, Perth, Australia. I've been able to go to Jackson Hole, this like expensive ski town, multiple times to go and just work and see these places that I never would have gone to otherwise and fallen in love with different cultures and places. And I am so grateful for that, especially since right now we cannot go anywhere. I've realized how much I love that aspect of my work. And it's probably my favorite aspect of it is to go somewhere, meet new people, connect with the storytelling community of that place, and see a culture for a few days and leave and just have that experience.
Honestly, I'm just grateful to have been able to be in that world. I know that may sound surprising, right? Because we've been talking so much about how tough it is and how much you have to sacrifice and conform yourself. But it really is a privilege to be in that world and to make that kind of money. I mean, let's talk money. Women don't talk money enough. Like, to make that kind of money, to support my family in Puerto Rico, to support my kids, our life. And quite frankly, as difficult as it is in the corporate culture level, the learning opportunities I've had have been incredible. There's so many trainings, so many trips for deals and trainings. I've even been to South Korea for a negotiation. I've met so many brilliant people. I am more grateful than ever because the job that I am going to after this is actually to a company client. So I wouldn't even have gotten this opportunity were it not for being at the law firm. So I'm just grateful that I did it, that I stuck it out, that life aligned itself and gave me this opportunity. It's tough, but I think sometimes you learn the most from tough experiences.
I am grateful that I chose the right career, unbeknownst to me. And being an overthinker, I probably would have thought myself slap out of this career completely. But the good news is there was no Google, there was no Siri. So, I would have probably thought, God, I'm not smart enough. I don't look the part. Like, I would have just self-talked myself completely out of this. And so I'm thankful that while there was not enough information about it, I was somehow, the spirits that be said, you should just do that. Because my aunt told me, she says, go major in business. And I was like, well, that seemed kind of lackluster for some odd reason. Just didn't have a good ring to it. Not that CIS does either, but So I get to college, I'm like, I don't think so. That sounds like a secretary, which is nothing wrong with that. But I was like, I think I can do better than that. So what else do you got for me? And I said, okay, fine, I'll be that, with no idea what I chose. So I'm thankful that I chose the right thing.
All right, and that brings us to the end. I hope that you enjoyed hearing from all of these women. And now I'm going to share my gratitudes. And this is very interesting because as of this recording, I have two directions that my career is going in. I have my corporate career where I do corporate strategy, which I have been doing for many, many years. And I have my new career as an entrepreneur and a career coach. And, it's connected to this podcast, but now it's actually a business that I'm creating. So I'm going to share gratitudes for both of those because those are both of my jobs now, which is really cool. In my 9-to-5 job, the thing that I am most grateful for, and I have always been most grateful for, are the people around me and the connections and the friendships that I've made. For me, there are few things more special that you get out of a job than when you get a really good friend. And I feel incredibly grateful to have that in my work environment. And when you go to work, even though we're working remotely now, there's still Slack and all those things. When you enter into your work environment, knowing that there are people there who you totally trust, who you can tell anything, who understand you, who you want to hang out with outside of work, that lifts your spirit and makes the experience at work so much more enjoyable. And I definitely, if you are someone who has looser relationships at work, I definitely recommend pursuing closer friendships if it feels organic and if it feels natural, because that connectedness that you get from those friendships is so powerful. It makes you feel so much more supported and so much more part of something. And I believe that it's really, really important. So that is something that I'm really grateful for in my current job. And in this new endeavor that I'm embarking on of coaching and entrepreneurship and building my coaching practice, I am really, really grateful for the opportunity to take this cause that I get very filled with emotion upon thinking about this, but to take this cause that is so close to my heart and feels like it is a soul mission that has been with me for so many years of my life. But I am so grateful for the opportunity to put that into practice and to bring that into the world. When I started this podcast, I didn't know what it would become, and I didn't exactly know what the path ahead was going to look like. I just knew that I wanted to get this message out to women. I wanted to get in your ears to tell you that you're amazing and that you can do anything, because I knew if I told it to you in just the right way, you would have this light bulb moment and you'd be like, well, maybe she's right and maybe I can do anything. And because you had that light bulb moment, you'd show up at work differently And when challenging situations come up, instead of falling back to old, fearful habits, you would have a moment of showing up far more courageously. And that little moment would change everything for you. That's why often when I'm interviewing my guests, I ask them to share a tiny moment that has been really impactful in their careers, because it's just one tiny moment where you speak up in a meeting that you've never spoken in before, or you share something, an idea with your manager when previously you've always kept your ideas to yourself. It only takes one moment to go from 0 to 1 and break that barrier of belief that you quote unquote can't do it. You only need to do it once, and it happens quickly and it happens in an instant. And I knew that if I could just tell you and just help you see what you are capable of, then you could go out into your job and experience that tiny moment. And that tiny moment, even though it's tiny, could change everything, because you can no longer stay in the story that you never speak up in meetings because you did it once, or you could no longer stay in the story that you don't share your ideas with your manager because you finally did it. And that's really what this show is all about. And I'm grateful for the opportunity to build this show into something even bigger than it is right now, and to have impact on a deeper level. After doing the show for 2 years, I realized on the one hand, I was having a ton of impact because women were listening to the show and it was making them feel different and show up differently. And I also realized that there was way more impact to be had, and that the next step for me in all of this was to deepen my ability to guide women through this process of finding that power inside of them so that it could change the future trajectory of what is possible for them in their careers. And my hope and my dream and my desired outcome for all of this is that women listen to this show. And because of that, there is some subset of women out in the world who end up going farther, faster in their careers than they would have without it. And we end up having a more compassionate and more heart-centered and soulful women leaders all across our professional world. Our professional world is starved for leaders who have big hearts and who care about people and who want to permanently change cultures and make workplaces these welcoming, safe, exciting, inspirational places to be. I believe that is the pinnacle of what these workplaces can be. And we need women like you, women who are sensitive, high EQ, ambitious, who care about other people. You are the exact women that we need to build that. And that is why it is so important for me to reach you and to help give you as much as I possibly can to help you become a leader. Because when you are a leader, you are going to change other people's lives. We spend so much of our waking hours in these work environments. And when we have strong, compassionate, inspirational leaders, people's quality of life goes up. And it's never at the expense of the company doing well. It always helps the company do better. When people feel good, they do better. Happiness comes before success. That is what the research tells us. And you can be an agent of that for yourself and for other people. And I think it's amazing. So I am bubbling with gratitude at the opportunity to continue this show, to continue to serve some of you one-on-one. It has been glorious. It has been so much fun. This show is going to continue on for a very long time. And I am so excited for those of you who are going to stay on the ride with me. And I hope that over time, you can blow your mind for what is possible for you, and you can totally shatter these limitations that you thought you had, and you can look back at a past version of yourself with love, with nostalgia, but also with knowing that you are a completely different version of yourself, and you are a version of yourself that is strong and capable and lives in a sense of limitless possibility. That is what I am grateful for, and it puts a really big smile on my face, and I hope it puts a smile on your face. I hope you have an amazing holiday. I hope you eat tons of delicious stuff. I hope that things are going really, really well for you. I would love to hear from you. I'm going to put all of my contact information below in the show notes, as I always do. All of the things that I mentioned, you'll find below. My ebook, there's also a free Facebook group. I will link to learn more about private coaching, and my email address and my contact information. Everything's down there. And with that, I'm going to hop off. I'm going to send you all of the love, and I'll catch you next week for an interview. All right, bye.